Programs from around the world covering the broad range of Quantel's Editbox online finishing capabilities. In just over 2 years, Editbox has changed the world of online editing forever. Quantel's Editbox range brings the full benefits and potential of digital technology to online editing. The technical and operational limitations of conventional linear suites and the pitfalls and compromises inherent in computer-based systems have been eliminated. Excellent interactive Quantel ergonomics gives the editor and client complete control over every aspect of the online editing process. Every facility is to hand with built-in powerful editing, effects, layering, and graphics tools, all operating in true random access fashion. This then is Editbox, the world's leading online digital nonlinear editing system, giving a truly integrated approach to online and designed to satisfy every editing and finishing application. This program is an Editbox training course. It is designed to take you through the basic operation and applications of the system. The video is part of the Editbox training package and will work in conjunction with the Editbox menu reference manual and training tutorial guide. The program is divided into modules and each will have an introduction and summary. References will be made to the manual and exercises will be referred to in the training tutorial set. At the heart of the system is the Editbox mainframe. This houses an internal disk for software and audio and an integral magneto-optical disk used for archiving. Depending on your configuration, you will either have 1 or 2 Dylan disk arrays. The Dylan stores the video frames you will be working with. The mainframe has an output to a professional video monitor, which displays the menus and desk working area. The editing control station comprises of the legendary Quantel pen and tablet interface. In addition, there's a hand unit called a RAT, which has a variety of uses depending on the menu area. There's a keyboard, which is mainly used for titling clips, and an intelligent disk drive for EDLs. All these items are Quantel supplied. The installed Editbox should be connected to a professional format VTR for video, audio, timecode, and serial control. In addition, we assume that your installation has waveform monitors for video levels, as well as audio monitoring meters. It is important that we spend some time looking at the input and output connections on the rear panel of the Editbox mainframe. Starting off with video inputs, there are 3 serial digital interface connectors incorporating 4-channel embedded audio, and these are on BNC connections. There is also an RGB, YUV and sync input on BNC connections as well. There is 1 RGB YUV key input on BNC and 1 serial digital interface reference also on a BNC connection. And finally, on the inputs, there is 1 analog reference on BNC which has a loop through. Looking at the video outputs, there are 4 serial digital interface outputs incorporating 4-channel embedded audio on BNC. There is also an RGB YUV plus sync switchable connection on BNC. There is 1 RGB YUV monitor output. If we look at the audio connections on the rear panel of Editbox, you can see that we have 2 AES EBU stereo digital audio inputs. There are also 2 AES EBU stereo digital audio outputs. There are 4-channel audio embedded on SDI video inputs and outputs. And finally, there's a 48 kHz digital audio word clock output on BNC connection. There are some other interfaces on the back panel of the Editbox mainframe, and these are a 100 megabit per second Ethernet connection for the open option. There are also 3 RS-422 VTR control ports. There's a printer port on an RS-232 connection. And there are 2 diagnostic ports also on RS-232 connections. There's a GPI remote trigger port, and this is useful for triggering external devices such as a caption generator. On Editbox, the desk display comprises of 3 work reels. The desk is where edits are constructed. The menu buttons on the desk are on the bottom quarter of the screen. If a menu button is pink, it means that this function is currently selected. If a menu button is grey, it means that this function is not selected at present. A green box is a numerical box, and when this is selected, it can be changed. One of the ways of changing it are using the numerical keypad. A blue button is an information button, and it is normally telling you something or indicating a current status. This convention of menu colors is consistent throughout the system. If you're using a Quantel Edit system for the first time, you'll need to spend a few minutes getting used to the techniques of pen and tablet editing. The stylus is pressure sensitive. When the nib is in proximity with the tablet, a yellow crosshair will appear on the screen. As you move your hand across the tablet, the cursor will follow your movements. When working with a clip, to scroll through the clip on the desk, apply a little pressure and move to scroll up or down with this light pressure applied. If you want to pick up a clip, place the cursor in the center of the picture frame. Press down on the nib as if making a full stop, then release the pressure to the same proximity as before. This will pick the clip up. Practice keeping the clip at the end of your pen as you move your pen around the tablet. To place the clip down, press down again as if making a full stop motion and release the pressure. If at any time the pen is lifted too far from the tablet, that is to say it is out of proximity, it will drop the clip and return it to the position it was picked up from. If a copy of the clip is needed, then after you've picked the clip up and dropped it by raising the nib of the pen away from the tablet, then whilst keeping the nib in proximity, swipe to the side of the screen and bring the cursor back. You can swipe left or right to get a copy of the last clip that was at the end of the pen. Note that this copy does not take up any more disk space. There is a difference between picking up a clip and letting go, which leaves the clips originally where it was picked up from, and picking up a clip and deliberately putting it down elsewhere. Practice picking up and placing clips on the desk where you want them, and swiping to make a copy of clips. Summary. So remember, the menu box's status are shown by their color. Blue, generally giving you information. Pink, meaning that it is currently selected. Gray, meaning that it is deselected. And green, indicating a numerical value which can be changed. The pen and tablet interface allows a number of gestural techniques for organizing and editing clips. Editbox can be divided into 9 main menu areas. These are the desk, where edits are constructed, the viewer, where edits are reviewed and trimmed. A swipe will take you down to the audio desk, a 16-track digital audio desk for editing, track laying, and manipulating audio clips. This is the main clips library for storing video and audio clips on the system. There are 3 libraries on Editbox, and we'll learn more about these in detail as we go through the course. The InOut menu lists the full range of inputs and outputs to the machine. References will be made to specific functions later. Then there is the Mix Effects area, and this houses a truly integrated palette of online editing tools. It comprises of a multi-channel keyer with up to 3 levels of key per Mix Effects layer. It has a color corrector that itself has selective keying capabilities in addition to luminance and chrominance manipulation. There is a texture menu, and this has a range of preset filters for image manipulation. There is a super blur control as well as edge effects which work in conjunctions with Hi-Con keys. And of course, there is a fully featured DVE which allows multi-axis control per layer and curvilinear distortions via bend, wrap and turn. The DVE also works seamlessly with the Track menu. This allows for tracking objects and image stabilization and adds new capabilities in online never possible before. The legendary Quantel Paintbox has always been integrated with Editbox. Now all Editboxes benefit from the latest innovations of Paintbox Express, which has been suitably adapted for the editing process. And finally, there is the full page menu, and this is a behind-the-scenes look at the system's configuration and the devices that are connected to various inputs and outputs. And of course, there are preferences setups as well. In this section, we'll look at editing on Editbox. Go to the Clips library, select some rushes, and bring them onto the desk. There are a number of ways to view clips on the desk. The reels are very much like a light box upon which clips are viewed. There are 3 reels, and it's up to you how you work or organize your work on the reels. It is my personal preference to keep the rushes in the right-hand reel and build up my edit on the left. The numbers displayed in the reels are changed by selecting these boxes here. They display frames, timecode, program timecode, and source timecode. Selecting one of these would change the display for all the reels. When I place these rushes in the right-hand reel, you will notice that Editbox has a very visual display. In this mode, I can see all the frames for the clip in order. With the pen, I can scroll through these, or with the arrows, I can jump to mark points or to the start or end of a clip. The reels are drum-like, and there is no limit to the number of clips that you can have displayed in one reel. As a clip is placed in a reel, a V-box is displayed at the bottom of that reel, and this will take that reel into the full screen viewer. The viewer has all the control you'd expect from the front panel of a VTR. You can play the clip forwards and backwards, single frame advance and reverse buttons, and you can jump to the start and end of the clip. And you can jump to various edit points and marks very easily with these buttons here. The orange line here is the timeline, This graphically shows you how far into the material you are and allows you to scroll through the clip by simply sliding it from left to right. Keeping the nib of the pen in proximity with the tablet, swipe left or right. This will remove the menu from the picture. A similar swipe will bring the menu back to its original position. With the menu off, you still have great control over the clip. A press down on the picture will play the clip. A press down will stop the clip playing. To jog through the clip, apply a little pressure with the nib and draw circular motions. The bigger the circles you draw, the faster you would jog through the clip. Or, if you're using jog as a cue point to a specific frame, then you can either draw tiny circles or move the cursor from side to side with a little pressure. If I swipe to bring the menu back on screen, you will notice there's a blue box on the left-hand side of the display and a green number box on the right-hand side. Remember, a blue box is an information box. Here, it is indicating the length of the clip in time. As I mentioned earlier, a green menu box represents a numerical box and is therefore changeable. It is changeable either with the soft numeric keypad here or by sliding the cursor up and down on screen. The box here indicates how far into the program you currently are. In other words, it represents time now. There's a constant relationship between the viewer and the desk reel display. Notice if I leave this clip queued on this frame here at time now on frame 4704 and return to the desk, this is a frame that is exactly in the middle of the reel, adjacent to this white cue marker. Look, if we change the display from frame mode to, say, source timecode mode here on the desk, then I return to the viewer and cue it up to a new frame, here, 3021. When I return to the desk, this is exactly the same picture frame queued up to this middle marker here. This has immediate advantages when editing. It means that I do not have to mark in and out points at each successive edit. So, back in the viewer, I will actually queue it up to this point here. Now, on the desk, I'm going to copy this and make my edit. So to do this, I'm going to pick up the clip, let it go, swipe off to the side and swipe back, and then place this clip over here in my chosen edit reel. Remember, this does not take up any more space on the disk. Notice also that as I put the clip down into my chosen edit reel, that I place my selector frame adjacent to the white marker. So the frames in the clip above here I do not want. This is going to be my first frame of the program. Using the pen as a blade, I'm going to swipe cut and divide the clip into two. I can easily put the clips back together again by picking it up and placing it down here. In this case, I don't want these frames and I want to get rid of them. So after I cut, I'm going to pick these frames up and take them down to this box CRF. The CRF box stands for the cutting room floor, and it's where we throw clips away. Like the pen, the CRF remembers the last thing that was thrown away until you pick up another clip. So if I was to view this clip and decide that my in point was too late, I could simply return to the desk and swipe off to recall those frames that I had placed in CRF. On with the edit then. I have my in point for the first shot selected here. So back into the viewer, and I'm going to play and find my out point here. Back on the desk, I'm going to choose the in point for my next shot. I'm going to copy this out and place it in the middle reel. You can see we're about halfway through here. I'm just using the scroll bar in the middle reel to find my in point. To make an edit, all I have to do is to pick it up, and this frame currently, 321, is my in frame. And I'm going to place it under here like so. And that's the edit done. All the extra frames are automatically hidden behind the edit, and those are referred to as the tail frames. So, here was my first shot, here's my second shot, and I put them together like so. Behind the edit are all the extra frames, which we refer to as the tail frames. Now, if I tap on this yellow line here, the number boxes displays the amount of tails which are hidden behind each edit. Back in the viewer, I'm going to review that edit. And I will queue it up to another point. And I can continue editing in this open-ended fashion. So, back here on the desk, I'm going to choose my next shot. I'll just queue this up, just find an in point, wait till it comes into focus. Okay, there's my in point, and make the edit in a similar fashion. Go back into the viewer. It is important that you understand the very basis on which the Tails on Editbox works. If I make a copy of the edit, like so, and return to the viewer, using these arrows, I can jump to edit one here. Notice also that there are these green boxes, and these indicate the clip duration. On the left, the length of the outgoing clip, and if I press on it, it will display the last frame of that clip. The right box displays the length of the incoming clips, and the edits here are uncommitted, and I can trim the edit like this by selecting the left-hand box. A numeric keypad is displayed, and I can type in a new duration and tap it in to the box like so, and transfer that setting there. Similarly, I can select the incoming clip, but I can adjust it by simply applying a little bit of pressure and sliding my cursor left or right in the picture area. But uncommitted edits do not just refer to trimming. Here at Edit 1, where the blue box indicates that it is a cut, I can change this transition type to a dissolve. I can adjust the length of the dissolve with these menus here. And I can also change the position of the dissolve. Now, if I use Window to zoom in to this timeline area here, and so you can just see this part of the edit when the window is selected, we're now centered around Edit 1, which is a current timeline position. And as you can see, this window size is changeable. But I really want to draw your attention to what has been graphically displayed here. So if I just change this back to a cut for a moment, you can see quite clearly that these two yellow lines represent the tails which are hidden behind the edit. Notice if I change it to a dissolve and ask for a 1 second dissolve, that this white box appears. And as I adjust the length and the position of the dissolve, that this is indicated with the size and position of that white box, indicating that which tails or what portion of the tails are currently being used to carry out this transition. Because Editbox has the ability to play two 601 streams of video simultaneously, this dissolve can be played back as a real-time transition. If I was to select another transition type, such as an SMPTE wipe pattern, then these two can be played back in real time. The edit point still remains uncommitted or live. So, if I change the transition here, I can still trim at any point in the timeline. Here on the outgoing shot, I can just trim that so we can just see the background shot there being moved. Or I can trim the incoming shot through that transition. Or indeed, I can tap on the center box and adjust both of those so slip sync on the edit without affecting the duration of the program. If this was the final version of my edit and I was going to output this to tape, then I will play out a resolved version where all the edits are committed. See, if I press the commit button, this happens. And edit 1 is committed at this point, and all the tail frames are gone, as is the edit marker. So I can take a copy of this resolved version of edit 1 back onto the desk. If we go back in again and I hit resolve, then all the edits are committed, as you can see there. I still have an uncommitted version on the desk, and if I just line these two up, so both frame ones, tap down here will lock those reels together. Then I can scroll through using the arrows, and you can see in the middle here the difference between a committed version and an uncommitted version. Here I have the resolve edit to provide the VTR with a single stream of video. So I take this down to the InOut menu, to the player, choose my VTR and the channels to go out and play that out. It's a single stream of video. Note that if the uncommitted version were to be taken out, then this will play as cuts only. Another way of displaying my clips on the desk is to make use of the folded editor. To fold the clips, I use the rat buttons. Button 1 folds the left-hand reel, button 2 the middle reel, button 3 the right-hand reel, and button 4 toggles between the folded and expanded view modes. The folded editor displays each clip in the edit as a picon. Note you can scroll through the clip more easily when the clip is in the folded view. The relationship between the viewer and the desk remains the same when working with the folded editor or the expanded view. I personally find the folded editor useful for working with rushes and long-form programs, but it is equally useful as a live storyboard when working with short-form programs such as commercials. Let us look at how we actually get video and audio into Editbox. If I go into the InOut menu here, I have control of the VTR. Again, they are the front panel controls that you would expect. To the right of the screen, the blue box indicates the current VTR status, while this box here locates its current timecode location. Using the soft selection box here, I first of all tell the system the name of the reel I have in the VTR. And I can either use the soft keypad here on screen to type that in, or indeed the keyboard in front of me. There are a number of ways to start and stop recording. The first one we'll look at is Auto Edit. As the tape is playing, you can tap on the In menu box over here. This will register the current timecode frame, and it can be updated like so. In a similar fashion, an Outpoint can be selected. Note that the duration is automatically registered here. Now, if I select the Go button here, the system will pre-roll the VTR and then load in real time the material for the channels selected here, these being video, audio 1 and 2. The system will automatically stop loading when the duration is reached. I can now return to the desk, and the clip is at the end of my pen, so I'm keeping the nib in proximity after I've selected the desk menu. If you accidentally drop the clip on the return to the desk, just swipe off to the side and return with the pen in proximity, and then place the clip on the desk. Returning to the InOut menu, you will notice that the time code in and out boxes are green and are therefore changeable by typing in a number from the keyboard or from the soft numeric keypad. Now, this is very useful if you want to go to a specific time code location, or indeed if you're working with a paper edit. If you're working with a non-time coded source material, such as maybe a CD player or caption camera, then you can select pen start and pen stop to record. So when the source is in play, you can tap down and go, which acts as a record standby. And then when you're ready, just tap down on the picture and you'd notice the cursor changes to red to indicate that we're recording. And then tap down again to stop recording. The most useful method of bringing in material other than by conforming is done by using Scene Select Link. This allows you to load material into a buffer. And then whilst you're loading, you can put edit points in on the fly using the rat, and then you can view it and make more finite selections of the clips loaded. In the first example I'm going to show you, I'm using Scene Select Link to put together a rough edit. So let's queue myself up, and I'm selecting Go again as my record standby. And this time, as soon as the tape machine is in play and locked, the cursor changes to red and I'm loading this clip into the buffer. Using button 1 on the rat, I'm placing marks. And the marks I'm placing this time, I will use as in and out points. Now that I've recorded enough of this clip, I can shuttle through to the next clip I want and tape. Editbox will stop recording when the VTR is in shuttle mode. Scene Select will only record when the heads in the VTR are locked into play. So I can continue to go and mark shots up as I go along. So I'll mark this one here, I'll put the tape into shuttle and just load one more. Okay, now that I have recorded all the clips I need into Editbox, I select the Viewer menu here. This now graphically displays all the clips that I've just loaded in on the timeline down here. The white marks here and here are the marks I put in with the rat. and the black marks here and here are the marks which were put in automatically when the VTR was in shuttle. This tells me that there's a definite scene change or timecode break at these points. There are two orange timelines here with the markers. The one here, the longer one, is the normal timeline, and it indicates how far into the material I am. Its end is positioned at time now. The smaller orange line is a graphical representation of a scene length between two markers. You will notice as I move the cursor along that this changes depending on the length of clip I am currently parked on. On the right hand side of the menu, I'm going to use the with mark functions. This will show any mark points after I've made my selection. And I'm going to use 15 frames of tails. This will give me extra frames either side of my clip selection. Because we're still viewing the clips in the buffer, I do not have to select the clips in the order that I loaded them in. To confirm that this is what I want, I park my cursor between the two given marks and I press the Take button, and a copy of this has been transferred from the buffer to the memory of the system, and it is available at the end of my pen. Now, when I take my cursor to another clip and I select Take, this has been edited or linked to the first clip. Now, if I wish to overwrite marks that I have given, then I can do this. Say I put in the marks too late, then I can easily do this. I can hit Select to say this is the first frame that I want, and then I can either play or use the single frame buttons, or indeed scroll through to say that this is the area that I want. And now that I've got that, then I can hit Take, and I've manually overwritten that. Anything not selected is lost when you return to the viewer. So there's the edit at the end of my pen, and now that I've returned to the desk, remembering to keep the nib in proximity with the tablet. So my assemble edit is there, and I can go to the viewer and play this back. As we go through, I can see the edit point coming up there as we change from this shot to that one. The yellow marks here indicate that they're the tail frames which I've chosen. And the white marks here and here are the marks I overwrote in the edit. If I use the arrows to jump to an edit point, and now window in, we can see quite clearly the tails indicated here. These were the tails that I asked for. The edits, like the edits I made on the desk, are uncommitted, so I can change this transition, taking advantage of the tail frames that I brought in. Another great feature of working with uncommitted edits is that if I wanted to change the order of the shots, then I can go back onto the desk and do so. So I can simply take the program apart like this and make this my first edit, move through, and then make another edit like so. This is very much like undoing a film splice. And it's very easy then to reorder the shots like this. So that is the first use of Scene Select. It is a great feature when working in a news environment or recording and editing live sport feeds, or indeed just putting together a quick assemble as I have done here. The second use of Scene Select is to bring rushes in. Let's take a look at that. back into the InOut menu and we'll go through the same procedure as before. Link Scene Select is there, go as record standby, play through, and I'll mark some shots. So as I go through these, there's my first shot. Oh, there's an endpoint. The marks this time are really just going to be scene dividers, separating the different camera setups. So we'll mark a section of that. And I can always swipe off to take the menu away to look at the image coming in full screen. We'll take one more, just shuttle through that. Put a mark and an out point. So now that these are done, I'm going to stop the VTR. These are recorded into the buffer. And as I go back into here, you can see the marks here. This time, I'm going to ask for no tails. And as I go through and select the shots that I want, and then go back to the desk, and look at this in the folded editor, these are all the rushes that I have. The analogy I use here comes from the days when I used to cut film. If this was a commercial, the director would bring the cans of a one-light transfer into the suite. We would lace up the Steenbeck and I would mark up the director's preferred takes with a Chinograph. We will then pull out the takes and put them onto one reel, the selected takes reel. From this selected takes, I would put together the first assemble. Now, in Editbox, I can use a combination of functions to go through a similar process. Firstly, using Scene Select, I can load into Editbox's buffer the clips I want, and I can mark these with the rat. After selecting the clips in the desired order, I can take these back to the desk as a string of selected rushes and save these into the main clips library. Then, using the folded editor on the desk, I can display these as source rushes and select my shots from these for my first assemble. So let's just look at the InOut menu one more time. There are a number of ways of bringing in material. We saw Auto Edit, which works with timecode. Then we looked at Pen Start, Pen Stop, which is great for non-timecoded sources. And Scene Select, which is useful for assemble editing and for loading in rushes. The Clips library gives you other information about the types of clips you can store here. Until now, we've been mainly dealing with video and audio clips. The system will tell you the types of clips indicated on the right-hand side. So you can see quite clearly here, it indicates the difference between a clip, which is a video or audio clip, a clip with a key, and a pack. Packs are setup layers for a composite. If need be, you can also search by owner, date, or categories. Apart from the titles use of the Clips library, which we have been looking at, there are a number of ways of displaying information. If I select Browse, then this will give me a pictorial representation of all the clips in the library. As the system displays 12 of these at a time, I can scroll down to look at more in a similar way. What I personally like about this is that each clip in the library has got a timeline. So I can scroll through these to remind myself of its contents. One thing to note is that whatever frame you pick a clip up on the desk and take it to the library to save, this is a frame that will be shown here. But you don't have to be worried about the first or last frame because, as you can see, you can easily scroll through the library and change that. Another way of viewing the material is to use the info display. Here we can see these 3 window displays, each still with a timeline, but we can also see other source information relating to the time and date and to the type of clip and so on. The final view mode for the library is a card. And here we see a card and a full page. I have all the information for the clips, including the name, the owner, categories, and the description box. This one I like to leave notes for myself about the clip. Say if I've gone through several processes to create a background or a look, then I might need to just leave a little note to tell myself of the processes that I used to achieve it. This is also useful if you're working with someone else who's going to finish the work you've started. The information may not be immediately obvious from just looking at the pictures and seeing how that clip is stored. So you can leave a shortcut information box and use a description to do this. Now that we've gone through storing clips in the main library, it is very easy to take the clips from here to the desk. If I want this clip over here on the desk, I simply tap down on it. And as I return to the desk, it is available at the end of my pen. So again, I want to be careful about keeping my pen in proximity with the tablet. And I can put this on the desk over here. Back in the clips library then, if I want to select multiple clips from the library and bring them onto the desk, I can do so. Here, if I select the first one, and then another one, and a third one, the first 2 clips will be placed in the center reel, and the last clip is available at the end of my pen. So if I put this down here on the center reel, we can see we have the 2 different clips selected there. Okay. Now that we have looked at storing clips, let us spend some time looking at the different save and search criteria that will help us to efficiently organize our material in the main clips library. So when we take a clip into the library to save it, we can not only give it a name, but we can give it some other information. For example, there is an owner field. The owner could be the editor, could be my name, or it could be the client's name, say an agency. Or in this case, it could be the name of the job. So I will type in Rover. Down here, there's also a category field. And this can help me break up my rushes into different hierarchical structures. So I can put in various criteria, such as interior and exterior, for the different shot locations. All of the relevant criteria for the shots for this particular program have been put in. Now that these have been entered, I can use any of these fields when looking for a clip, be it name, owner, date, or category, as well as the type of clip. If it's an ordinary clip, a clip and key, or if it's a pack, all of these are available to me as search criteria. So let's say I want to look at all the clips that I've saved in the main clips library associated with the Rover job. So rather than just relying on the name of the clip, I'm going to go straight for the owner and type in Rover. Now, an interesting thing to note is that there are actually 3 fields here within the keypads to find and save clips. These are the arrows indicated here, these up and down arrows. So now that I've selected everything I want for the job Rover, and those are displayed here, I'm going to go into categories, and the categories I have used are int for interior, so I'm going to store that by using the down arrow, and type in ext for exterior. So each time I don't have to keep retyping those. And this will naturally speed up the whole process of finding the shots that you want. Remember, there is no limit to the number of clips you can have in the library, so adapting some sort of organization system is beneficial. Once again, we've got rover, and in the categories I'll choose everything from interior, and those have listed those there. And we can look at those in Browse as being all the interior shots. Or I probably want to change that and look for all the exterior shots. So I find, keeping the same owner but in category, just move through and say display all the exterior shots, and I can look at those. This multiple name fields using the up and down arrows is used throughout the system, where the soft keypad is displayed. The main clips library has several in and outs fields when titling, as we've seen, such as owner, category, and name. And using a combination of these provides a much more flexible selection of clips.